All right, Sam. So you have been playing Rainbow Cotton.
Yes, a remaster remake of the classic Rainbow Cotton exclusive Japanese game that came out on the Sega Dreamcast.
A
Uh,
Dreamcast game.
yes,
Wow.
I believe it came out in 2000 or
Okay.
2001. Was never ported over here to America. But the Cotton franchise is, I guess, pretty well known outside of Japan. It's originated as side-scrolling shmups
Hmm.
or cute 'em ups back in the day of the arcades. And then I believe there was a Sega Genesis game before this that transitioned them to 3D, and then this was the first like fully 3D. Look at us, we're
Wow.
Sega Dreamcast. We have an analog stick game that they created. Game has like a arcade past, so you start the game off with 5 credits. You're introduced with an anime cutscene, which I believe for the first time was translated into English for
Oh,
this
cool.
release,
Okay.
and then greeted with 5 credits to then go through the stages of the game. So the game is basically a
Wait, 5
um,
credits, so it takes like the arcade
yeah,
credit
yeah.
experience.
So the
Okay.
game, I
All
mean,
right.
the entire series has like an arcade
Yeah, yeah,
pass. Like
yeah.
my knowledge of Cotton came from the original arcade version, which I just knew as Cotton, but it's like Cotton and the Magical Wonder something or
Sure.
other. Yeah, so like when this dropped on our lap, I was like, oh, I'll hop in. I know who Cotton is. I can play this. And also, while you guys gave it to me, is because it's kind of like this Star Fox,
Yeah.
Panzer
Yeah.
Dragoon, sort of like on rails flying game, I guess is the easiest way to put
Sure.
that if you're not familiar with those types of games. Um, and yeah, there's I want to say 5 stages, maybe a couple extra boss fights here and there. At least for myself, I was able to get through it on those 5 credits on the normal mode with no problem. It is a sort of, it's weird because
Hmm.
you definitely can see that you're doing damage, but because it's kind of an arcade game, there's none of the sort of like, oh, I've landed, so I get a little rumble, or like, even some sort
Sure.
of like maybe more audio pops we're used to kind of like impacts and stuff
Something
these
a little more
days.
modern or
Yeah, so
quality
it
of
kind
life.
of,
Okay.
so like the like movement and the then sort of like shot firing and like hitting just feels kind of like floaty. You're just a
Hmm.
little, which I guess if you're flying around on the broom here, is fitting. But yeah, everything just kind of feels a little like loose. I guess is the best way to put it.
Okay.
Even when you're moving your control stick, it's kind of has that like built-in inertia where, kind of like with Mario, if you hit to the left, kind of has that little bit of momentum that keeps it going to the left slightly. And then is also, if you're not used to the sort of like, positioning your ship of where you fire and then sometimes not positioning, and you're just positioning where you fire, is a little weird for people. Um, my major, I guess, complaint with the game is that it's a huge mention in everything that they've translated the
Hmm.
game. And they have. The cutscenes are the little like vignettes are all in English, but there's only a handful of those.
Hmm.
And then there's characters that are having full conversations while you're playing through the levels that I haven't been translated, and there's no like English dialogue or text anywhere. It's just being shouted at in Japanese, which is fine. But when you hear that that's like a major selling point of this, it should be throughout the entire game and not just the
Ah,
cutscenes.
okay.
So like you kind of have an idea of what's going on with the story, but your main character and the sort of like fairies that you, I guess, capture throughout the levels will communicate and do call outs and stuff like that. And you just, I mean, I don't speak Japanese, so I just couldn't understand um, anything that they were saying. And then also, it is pretty short.
Hmm.
For a $20 game, it is, it is sort of to Dreamcast game. It's the first time it's coming over here. Definitely had to do some translation and some updates. My understanding is that the original Dreamcast version did not control very well, but
Hmm.
I don't have any experience playing that, so can't comment on it. Um, So there was some work put into this, but there doesn't really seem to be like that much of sort of extras, right? It's in, at its face value, it's an arcade game. You play through the arcade game, and there is a harder difficulty, and you can play through it again. And there is 2-player, which is nice, so you can play through the game with a friend. But
Like a baby brother mode version, I guess, right?
well, no, it's a full
Oh,
like
okay.
2-player. Like
Okay.
I'm not sure if they're showing it in this trailer that we're watching, but it is a 2-player, like 2 witches flying through the air
Okay.
there.
All right.
So yeah, so it's definitely if you're into the cute 'em ups,
Mhm.
it's certainly one of the titles that is in a series that is sort of well known. First time it's in America. I just think if you're looking for like this style of gameplay, even if you want to go back to like the recent, I say recent, it was in like the last 4 or 5 years, the like Panzer Dragoon HD
Mhm.
stuff, and even hey, Star Fox Zero still not that bad if you got a Wii U lying around, and but if you definitely want to experience like all of the sort of like unique games that never made it here to America, definitely on that. Uh, Worth a try. If you're into that style of game and you're really looking for something, you've completely run out of titles, then I would float to it. But if you're not like, if the name Cotton doesn't bring back any memories or anything like that,
Sure.
it's maybe not a title that you would go out and seek for yourself. But if you're into the old Japanese arcade games, and really want to play all of the exclusive Dreamcast games that we never got here in America, then
Mhm.
now available on PC and Switch.
It seems like they visually like did a really good job of capturing that older aesthetic, but bringing it up. I mean, it's still like heavy polygons during the like right here during the majority of the scenes, but it still kind of has a little bit of that classic feel, even going to widescreen. So that's done pretty well,
Yeah.
I think.
Well, and
Yeah.
they mentioned right there in the trailer there is a
Yeah.
retro mode that gives you
Okay.
the sort of 4:3 aspect ratio, and it puts
Oh,
actually
cool.
a pretty
The
good
filter.
like yeah, filter over top of it. So
Excellent.
you can experience it as close to the Dreamcast version. I'm not sure if they like tweaked the controls at all in that. I kind of just played through the first like world, played through a life of that
Sure.
real quick just to check it out, but that is there if you want to play it as close as you can to on the Switch or PC. It is also works on the Steam Deck. I played through it on there also.
Okay,
So
I see. Okay, excellent. So you played this exclusively on a Steam Deck, or
no, I did a little bit of both.
oh, nice, cool.
Yeah, played through. I don't remember if my original playthrough was on the Steam Deck or not, but played
Okay,
through. I played through once and then played through a
sure.
little bit on another one too. So
Nice. Excellent. All right.